Okay, Assalamu alaikum again, and in this lecture CB, I'm going to talk about the crawling, which is actually going to be occurring because of the slotting harmonics. And those of you who are a little away from 6A lecture, I am here talking about the synchronous harmonic talks or harmonic synchronous torque. You can use any other name if you want to use, but actually this is since involving the harmonics, and these are actually going to be produced because of the harmonics which are being produced because of the slotting. And since we did a fun numerical start in the last lecture, I'm just going to write down the data over here again. So this is a 4-pole machine, and since certainly this is an induction machine, it's a three-phase machine, three-phase 4-pole. The number of slots on the stator side is 24. The number of slots on the rotor side is 28. So certainly this is going to be producing some slotting harmonics. And if you remember, if I'm talking about the stator here first, and here I will be talking about the rotor one. So the order of harmonics, the order of the stator harmonics. So the order of the harmonics because of this slotting, we going to be find out as 2ss divided by p plus minus 1, and here also this will be 2sr divided by p plus minus 1. So if I just put in the values, because I have taken ss equal to 24 and sr equal to 28, so this means that this will be equal to 2 into 24 divided by sorry, this is actually 4 poles, so this is plus minus 1, and here this will be 2 into 28 divided by again sorry 4 plus minus 1. So now if I calculate this one, we have done this previously in the last lecture, the last point also, but I'm just doing it for those who are still lagging behind. So this is 12 plus minus 1, so the equation is 12 plus minus 1, and here in this case this is 14 plus minus 1. And if I just now complete this one, this is 13th harmonic, and certainly this is coming from the positive, so this is going to be creating the positive direction harmonic, and since this will be 11, so this will be having a negative sign. This will be 15th over here for the rotor side, and this will be 13th over here for the negative side. And I told you in the last lecture at the very end that this harmonic and this harmonic, because they are going to have the same number of poles, and for those who have an idea what will be the number of poles, that will be 13 times p. So this means 13 into p, that will be 2 whatever that number is going to be the number of poles, and because of this poles there is going to be a synchronous harmonic torque being produced, and this synchronous harmonic torque is actually going to be a locking between the stator poles and the rotor poles over here. But before that, how this locking and at what speed this locking is going to be there. Now what is actually happening over here, if I just want to go into that much detail over there. The first thing, I have a stator. Let me just draw one rotor here over here. This is my rotor, and at the very same time I have a rotor. Let me sorry, a stator, and certainly this is that stator, and certainly this is that stator. Now this stator is going to produce a fundamental for ns. This is because of the fundamental over there, and at the very same time since this is for the rotor, so I'm going to use the other color for this one. So this is going to be nr. This is the fundamental. But what has happened, because of the slotting, you are going to have a lot amount of uh, slotting harmonics produced, and we have just calculated that they are the 13th here and 13th here. Certainly 11, 15th are going to be there. They are going to produce some losses, but they are not going to produce that crawling effect or harmonic synchronous torque over there. Now, if we go on the harmonic stage, the harmonics, since we have seen in this stator side, the stator side is going to produce a 13th harmonic in the positive direction. So this means that there is going to be a ns by 13, and that will be in the same direction as the stator fundamental, and the fundamental is producing ns over there. And if we take on the rotor side is producing a 13th harmonic which is moving in the opposite direction. So if I use the same color over there, so what is going to happen, this is going to produce ns by 13th in the opposite direction. Please remember, this is not being produced because of any indication. This is being produced because of the slotting harmonics over there. This is because of the slots on the stator periphery and the rotor periphery, which I have not shown over here in this diagram up till now. Now, what I want to see actually, I want to see actually that how this harmonic and how this harmonic, they are going to be having a locking between them. Certainly, as it shows over here in this diagram, they are moving in the opposite direction. But there will be a locking at some certain speed because they are their speeds with respect to their particular frame. Because this ns by 13 is the speed of the 13th harmonic with respect to stator, because stator is stationary. And ns by 13 over here is actually the speed of the rotor 13th harmonic with respect to the rotor. Okay, this is very important over here. So we have to take a common frame of reference, and by which I am going to do it. But before that, let me just write down some equations over here over here. So if I talk from the stator point of view first, so if I have the stator over here, let me just do it over there. So the speed of the 13th harmonic MMF due to this is the 13th harmonic stator MMF due to the 13th harmonic poles. This is going to be equal to, very simple, this is actually because of the stator, so it has nothing fancy over there. The stator is stationary, so it's always with respect to, and it is moving in the same direction as I have shown you. So this value is plus ns by 13, nothing to do. So this is already with respect to the stator. This is with respect to stator, nothing over there. Now, so this is ns by 13 over there. Now the next thing is this, I want to actually talk on the speed of the 13th harmonic rotor MMF with respect to stator. Now this is going to have two things over there. First of all, I have to find out the speed of the 13th harmonic MMF with respect to rotor, and then add the speed of the rotor over there. But before that, if I go back on this diagram, let me just focus on this diagram. What happened inside this one? There was an ns. This ns produced nr because of that induction phenomena inside this machine. And there is an ns by 13 phenomena which is over here. And because of the MMF which is being produced inside the rotor, the MMF being produced inside the rotor, it is producing ns by 13. This ns by 13 is also going to produce another waveform that is going to move in the same direction, and that is going to be called as nr by 13. Just like you had ns was producing nr, this ns by 13 is on the rotor, and it is going to produce another speed for the physically rotor speed, that is nr by 13 over there. So if I want to find out the speed of the 13th harmonic with respect to the rotor, that is going to be over here. Let me just write it down over here in this form. This is 13th harmonic, or the speed of the 13th harmonic MMF with respect to rotor. So what is that speed? Since if I go back on this diagram, as you can see over here, this is ns by 13 is the speed, and because of it there is another MMF produced inside, or the rotor speed, that is nr by 13. So I am going to have the speed of the 13th harmonic MMF equal to ns by 13 minus nr by 13. Now why I have subtracted them? Very simply because I want a relative speed between them. I want the speed of ns by 13 with respect to the rotor. The rotor is having nnr by 13th component over there, because we are still dealing with the harmonics. Remember, we are still dealing with the harmonics at present. In the next step, I am going to add the rotor speed, which is NR. At present, I have to deal with the rotor harmonics first. So the rotor harmonic with respect to the rotor harmonic physical speed, that is ns by 13 minus nr by 13. And certainly, since we all know that ns and ns is the higher quantity, so certainly if I want to find out the relative speed of the 13th rotor harmonic with respect to rotor, that will be ns by 13 minus nr by 13. So this expression over here is going to be ns by 13 minus nr by 13, and the next thing is going to be the speed of rotor with respect to stator. And we already know that speed, that is nr, so we have to just plus this one with nr. But here the problem over here arises, we can't just add the speed of nr over here, because if I go back on my diagram, as you can see over there, what is the speed of ns by 13 and nr by 13? They are moving opposite to what I have taken as the positive direction, and nr is moving in the positive direction. So what over here, since I have to compare these two speeds over here, what I'm talking about, I have to compare this speed, that is ns by 13, but whatever value I'm going to get from over here. So I have to go in the same direction, that is the positive logic. So what I'm going to do, if I think this equation, I'm going to call this speed as negative. Why? Because this is moving in the opposite direction. If I go back over there, this is ns by 13 moving in the opposite direction, and nr by 13 also moving in the opposite direction. So when I'm talking about the relative speed of ns by 13 minus nr by 13, this is still in the opposite direction. So I have to make them negative. So I have made this one as negative, minus ns by 13 minus nr by 13, and now since adding the negative sign has now made it in the positive direction, now I can add nr over here. And what is nr? nr is the speed of the rotor with respect to the stator over there. So what this means over there, that the speed of the 13th harmonic rotor MMF with respect to stator, I can write it down as simply as nr minus brackets open, this is ns by 13 minus nr by 13. You can open the brackets and you can formulate it. So this is that speed of the 13th harmonic rotor MMF with respect to stator over there. So this is easily telling me. Now this expression, I can call this one as B, and this expression is A. Now since I'm talking about the harmonic synchronous torques over there, so this means that these expression A and expression B, they both are going to have the same equal point over there. So there is going to be a harmonic synchronous torque, that is when A and B, they are both going to be same. So if I equate them together, so this means that this is going to be ns by 13 on this side. So this is actually equating A and B. So ns by 13, and this will be equal to, then I have nr minus ns by 13. I'm not opening the brackets at present, I'm just writing down the equation straight away. So this is my equation after equating. So ns by 13 is equal to nr. On this side I have the stator MMF speed with respect to stator, and here on this side I have the rotor MMF third harmonic speed with respect to again stator. Whenever you have to compare, you have to actually make them on the same frame of reference. So now this is a very simple expression. I can now make it over there. So this is actually going to be, let me just do this calculation. This is ns by 13, this is nr minus, this will be ns by 13, and this will become plussing. So this will be nr by 13. So now this ns by 13 can go on this side. So this actually becomes as 2ns by 13. And here this is nr plus nr by 13, so this becomes equal to 14 nr by 13. I skipped some mathematics, you can do this yourself. This 13 and 13 is cancelled. So what this expression is now, I can write it as nr equal to 1 by 7 into ns. This is a very simple expression now telling me that this A equal to B is going to hold true when nr is going to be equal to 1 by 7th of the synchronous speed. And how nr is going to be? Nr is actually the rotor speed. So when the machine is going to speed up from rest, it's actually going to have a crawling point, and at that point that speed is going to be ns by 7. A point can come where the machine is actually going to be locking together. That is actually the 13th harmonic of the stator MMF and the 13th harmonic of the rotor MMF. They both are going to be locked together, and at this point you are going to have the synchronous harmonic torques. Now, how this is actually going to be represented on the torque slip curve? Let me just draw a torque slip curve over here. Torque slip curve, we all know on the y-axis I have the torque. This is my torque over here, and certainly I can draw this one on this side as well, just for the importance. And if I draw this one over here in green color, so what this means, I am going to have, this is my torque slip curve. On the x-axis, certainly everyone should have an idea. This is your zero speed, and here NR is equal to NS. This is actually the speed. This is actually the speed on the x-axis. And if you want to represent slip, certainly this is 1, this is 0. Because certainly zero slip or NS speed is not possible, because at that point induction phenomena does not occur. So you are going to have zero torque at this point. Now this is the torque slip curve over here. Now we have just evaluated that NR when it's going to be NS by 7, and certainly that point, if I see on this point, this will be something at this point. So at this point where your NS by 7 point is there, you are going to have a harmonic synchronous torque. And if you remember, your synchronous machines, they always produced a straight line, vertical axis line for the torque slip curve. For those who have still no idea what I'm talking about, if you remember the torque slip curve of the torque speed curve of a synchronous machine, you had speed on the x-axis, torque on the y-axis, and it was a straight line. Why a straight line? Because synchronous motors, they always work at a constant speed. So this was the supposingly this one was the torque full load point for that machine, and the machine was working up till this point, and a point will come afterwards. If it cannot supply that torque, it will be actually not going to even move, because there is no locking between the stator and the rotor, so machine will not be moving. This is actually a torque speed curve, or actually slip does not exist in synchronous motors. We don't write torque slip. This is actually a torque speed curve for a synchronous motor. SM stands for synchronous motor. So now over here in this induction machine torque slip curve over here, if I want to now indicate that one over here, let me just use another color, maybe red one. So what is going to happen at this point, there is going to be a very straight line, and something like this is going to be, so instead of this green color waveform, at NS by 7 there is going to be a straight vertical line, and on this line if you have the load line. Now what happened? What is a load line? I hope so everyone has an idea up till now. A load line is actually the load parameter, and we wanted the machine to work at this point. Supposing we wanted the machine, this was the load line curve, and we wanted the machine to work at this point. Supposedly this one was that NR or whatever that value. But when the machine was speeding up, a point occurred at NS by 7, and that point is over here at this point. The machine does not go towards that full speed, because the load is still being provided over here by the harmonic synchronous torque, but at a smaller speed. So what is happening over here, that the machine, instead of going at your designated speed of NR or whatever that speed may be, maybe it was a 3000 RPM NS, so it was something 2800, 2700 RPM. Now instead of that one, it is now revolving at 3000 divided by 7, whatever that value will be. That value is going to be the crawling speed of that induction machine. So instead of going out, because that torque is being still fed up, this torque is still being fed up into the machine, and the load is still working, because the load is actually Ising equation, it's not a straight line. Remember one thing, a load line for a revolving machine or revolving load is always not a straight line. It's always going to be increasing up like a quadratic equation. Why? Because as the speed is increasing, certainly you have P is equal to tau omega. So certainly when the speed is increasing, the torque demand is also increasing. But what happens here at this point, at this one, you are having a crawling. So the machine, instead of going on towards your NR designated speed, the torque is met, and at this point the speed is ns by 7 and the machine does not go. So again, this is a crawling phenomena occurring over here, by which I mean by this that the machine, instead of going on to its designated speed, it is now working at ns by 7, and that is all because of the 13th harmonic which you have just done in the very start up till now, because this was 13th harmonic from the stator, 13th harmonic from the rotor. So this was for the stator, this one for the rotor, but the crawling speed which you are getting over here is equal to ns by 7. So this is telling you that synchronous locking is being done between two harmonics, which are 13th and the 13th harmonic from the both stator and rotor, but it's not occurring at the 13th ns by 13, it's occurring at ns by 7 over here. So this is telling you that because of the harmonics, and these harmonics are because of the slottings being produced inside the machine, so you are having ns by 7 speed. So the torque slip curve is actually changed over here in this one. So instead of having this curve, so now the curve is actually something like this. It can be more sharp on this. I have drawn this one as something a little bit going on, otherwise it's going to be just a straight line over there. And if the torque or the load line crosses that point, it will eventually be running at that speed over there. Now, coming on to another example, I'm not going to complete that example, I'm just going to leave it to you up till at that point. I have another example over here in which I have the number of slots equal to supposedly 24. I have the number of rotor slots equal to 20, and here again I have the number of poles equal to 4. Now here I will just go in a very straight away fashion. For the stator side, I have 2s divided by p plus minus 1. Here I have 2sr divided by p plus minus 1. Now if I plug in the values, this is actually going to be 2 into 24 divided by 4 plus minus 1. We know this is actually 12 plus minus 1. So I'm just going to write down the answer. This is the 12 minus 1. This is 13th. And 12 minus 1, so this is 11. So this is 11th and 13th harmonic being produced by the stator slotting. Now if I go in the rotor side, so rotor side has 20 slots, so this will be equal to 2 into 20 divided by 4 plus minus 1. So this is 4 into 5. So this is actually 10 plus minus 1. So 10 plus 1, this is 11. So this will be the positive moving harmonic. And 10 minus 1, 9. So this will be negative. So now what has happened now? In this type of arrangement, now I have the 11th harmonic from the stator and 11th harmonic from the rotor. And since this is actually the stator side, this is actually the rotor side. So what is now going to happen? There is again going to be a locking phenomena between the stator and the rotor because of the 11th harmonic. And just to give you an idea, I'm not going to solve that one for you, but since again if you want to compare the two speeds, because this is coming from the stator side, this is coming from the rotor side, so if I want to evaluate the speed of the 11th harmonic with respect to stator, this will be written as minus ns by 11. Why? Because this is already having a negative sign over there. So this is already moving in the opposite direction to the fundamental. And then when you are going to equate the two speeds, this will be equal to, now here on the side, since in the rotor side, this 11th harmonic is in the positive direction. This is very important. This is moving in the positive direction. So again, this time its sign is not going to be negative. Remember, if I go back on the diagram which you have done just now previously, here in this one, this ns by 13 and nr by 13, they both were moving in the opposite direction. Now ns by 11 in this case and nr by 11, they both are going to be moving in the same direction. So this time you are not going to put a negative sign, we just put over here like this one. So if I go back on the calculation tab over here in this case, so this one would be equal to ns by 11 minus nr by 11. This is for the rotor. There is no need of negative sign, and you are just going to add this with the rotor speed, that is nr. So no need to go in that all schematics, but yes, overall, if the question asked in your exam and you have been asked about the how you are going to find out the speed and relative speeds and all that stuff, then certainly you have to write down all that stuff over there. But if supposing there is an example over there, then you just have to evaluate this equation, and when you will evaluate this equation, I'm not going to go in the mathematics of this one, you are going to find out that nr is going to be equal to minus 1 over 5 ns over here. What this is telling me, that this time the 11th harmonic from the stator, which is certainly in the negative, and 11th harmonic which is from the rotor, which is certainly moving in the positive direction, they both are going to have a locking phenomena, but that is going to happen at minus ns by 5. This minus sign is actually going to tell you that this is going to occur in the braking region over here. This is not going to occur in the motoring region. And for those who don't have any idea, again, which I'm talking about, if I make the torque slip curve, this is the torque over here, and this is certainly the slip or speed over there. And let me draw the so the torque slip curve is certainly like this. This is the motoring region, and if you extend this further over here like this, this is the braking region. This is the motoring region over here. And certainly, if I want to draw that minus ns by 5, so certainly that minus ns by 5 would be something at this point, and it will be again a straight line, and it will be something like this. Oh, sorry, not this one. So this is going to be like this, and this will be minus ns by 5. So crawling phenomena will not just occur in the motoring region, it can occur in the braking region also, and certainly again the load line will be something again increasing. We wanted that machine should be working at this, but when we were trying to brake this machine, what happened, a point came at this point where the torque was being met, and the motor started to work at minus ns by 5, which is certainly again a stable condition, and the machine will be still working at that point. But this is crawling, and this is crawling because of the harmonic synchronous torques at this point. Remember, this is being produced because of the 11th harmonic from the stator and 11th harmonic from the rotor, but this is happening inside the braking region. Just now I told you in the induction motor over there, this was happening in the motoring region, and this was because of the 13th harmonic, and this one was happening at 7. Now for different number or different values of SS and SR, you can have very different number of harmonics being produced over there. Now one thing very important over there, you can take any number of slots and any number of rotor slots over there, but there will be some special number of slots at which you are going to have not just crawling but some other problems which we are going to deal in the next video, that is lecture number 6C, and hopefully this will be the end of this article, because this is now getting a lot lengthy, but these are very important topics, and whenever a machine designer is actually going to design these machines, you have to take into consideration that what should be the number of slots in the stator, what should be the number of slots in the rotor. Yes, there are some other factors for the stator slots to be decided, because the G factor, the distribution of the windings, the MMF shape and all that factors. But overall, whenever you have decided the number of slots in the stator, the rotor slots has to be taken in such a way that the harmonic at which there is going to be. Now certainly 13th harmonic, if it is going to happen over there, we can reduce that 13th harmonic. And the only way, very simply at present, that can be avoided is this, that you don't take the number of slots as 24 in the stator and 28 in the rotor, because this is actually going to give rise to 13th in the stator as well and 13th in the rotor as well. So there is going to be a problem. So you either take 28 or maybe you can take 30 over there, but yes, 30 can produce another problems over there, or maybe like 32 over there, or any other value. I'm just leaving this one for you. Try to find out that how you can avoid 13th harmonic or maybe 11th harmonic as we just done just now. so that there is no harmonic synchronous torques over there. In this lecture, we have just concluded that you are having harmonic synchronous torques being produced inside your machine, and they are actually producing the crawling phenomena either in the braking region or either in the motoring region over there. Thank you for this one.